Parvati is Professor of English and Head of the Department of Humanities and Sciences, JNTUH. She served as the Chairperson of Board of Studies in English, JNTUH, from 2014 to 2016. She did MA English Literature from Sardar Patel University, PGDTE from CIFL, Hyderabad, and PhD from JNTUH. Before she joined in JNTUH service, she worked in CBIT for 12 years from 1998 to 2010. She published 24 research papers in national and international papers and presented 16 papers in national and international conferences. She has 25 years of teaching experience at both UG and PG levels in the university, constituent and affiliated colleges. She was the chief editor for JNTUH journal named Forum for Musings, a JNTUH Journal of English Studies. For 5 years. Her research interests include Indian writing for 5 years. Her research interests include Indian writing in English, English language teaching, and women's studies. Dr. Parvati guided 6 PhD candidates, and at present, 5 candidates have been working under her supervision. She is the coordinator for the new course, Gender Sensitization, introduced at JNTUH in 2012. Thank you.
Madam, may I?
Yes, Dr. Panda.
Hello?
Yes, Dr. Panda.
Ma'am, you are not audible. Okay. Hello? Yes,
Hello?
yes, ma'am. Yes.
Dr. Panda.
Yes, ma'am.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Please.
Dr. Panda, you request all participants to mute their voice because when she was introducing, there was a lot of noise and echoing is there. So you please better, otherwise from your side, host side, you better mute the mics of all participants. So
I'll do that.
I'll
do that. Madam. I'll take care of it.
Right.
Okay. That's great having her here today. She's a great woman who thinks about others, and she took up the gender studies that JNTU didn't give a gender studies discussion at all, but she started it with her own profile and profound talk. She could make it this gender studies, and she has been working tirelessly in the Department of English, at the same time giving guidance like people like me to do, what not to do at various situations, at junctures where we are in trouble. And BOS member for almost a dozen of JNTU has affiliated colleges. Just wonderful to have you, ma'am. Thank you. And we'll be having beautiful things. Who else can speak better on integrity, value, ethics? Who follows it herself? Thank you, and welcome to the AICTE FDP program, ma'am. Please.
Thank you. First of all, let me thank Chandrakala for her wonderful introduction, and also let me thank Dr. Panda for adding some more words in introducing me. Thank you very much, both of you. Good morning to all the participants, organizers, and online viewers of this faculty development program. I take this opportunity to welcome you all to this AICTE AICTE sponsored 1 week training program on life skills and emotional intelligence, held between 21st and 25th September 2020. And once again, I welcome you all to this second technical session of 4th day of this training program, which is on integrity, values, and ethics. In this particular session of 90 minutes, the discussion will be on what do we mean by integrity, values, ethics, and need for value education in the present scenario in all UG level and PG level, even at high school level also. How do values differ from skills? Difference between competition and cooperation, self-exploration, natural acceptance, difference between prosperity and wealth, contemporary vision of happy and prosperous life, like how we look at happiness and prosperous life, right understanding, cooperation, prevailing notions of happiness in society, fundamental values of relationships, and profession and human goal, implications of value-based living, and dilemmas of this generation. So these are some of the topic we focus on in this particular session, which is on integrity, values and ethics. Before we start the discussion, I request you all people, please listen to this particular case study. That is, let me just read it out. You please listen to this case study, and you can respond to it through charts. I think this is what Dr. Panda told me. We can have an interaction by making use of the chat box. So later when I ask you queries, you please respond by using this facility. Let me read it out, the case study. A manufacturing company provides jobs for many people in a small town where employment is not easy to find. The company has stayed in the town even though it could find cheaper workers elsewhere. Because workers are loyal to the company due to these jobs it provides. Over the years, the company has developed a reputation in the town for taking care of its employees and being a responsible corporate citizen. The manufacturing process used by the company produces a byproduct, some product, that for years has flown into the town river. The byproduct has been considered harmless, and there were so many tests underwent, and finally it was proved that this byproduct is harmless. But some people who live near the river have reported illness because of this byproduct which has been released in the river water. The byproduct does not currently violate any anti-pollution laws. According to law, there is no problem. Absolutely, it was tested, it was proved that it is not harmful to human beings. But many people who stay near some sort of illness due to the use of that particular water. So this is the situation. In this situation, let us now interact, let us now discuss what are the issues of integrity, ethics and values posed in this case study. What options does the company have and what should it do and why? In fact, the company has been providing jobs to many people who stay nearby, right? And it provided here bread butter to many families. But instead of that, here there is some problem with that, and there are some complaints also from the people who reside nearby. So this is the case study. According to the law, there is no problem, and it is proved that the byproduct which is produced or manufactured by this company is harmless. So that is what law says. So this is the situation. I request the participants to respond. What are the issues of integrity here, ethics and values posed in this case study? So can anybody answer, please? So what are the ethics? So is it correct to continue manufacturing the byproduct in this company? Please respond. Otherwise, the company should continue producing or manufacturing this byproduct. Yes, they say yes, because legally there is no problem. But how about the complaints given by the people who reside nearby, that who drink that water, or who very often they fall sick? So that they have been receiving, even government also has been receiving a number of complaints about that. So we need to think about that. And there are three issues involved in that. What are here? And there are ethics, there are values even here. We need to think about integrity also. Integrity of that particular company. Of course, it provided employment to many people. As an organization, yeah, we are getting response from participants. As an organization, it is vital to take note of the environment. Very good, very good. So let us keep this law, let us keep the rules, regulations and all aside. We need to think about the here environment also. Very good. And they have to attend the complaints also. Very good. So this is what we mean to say. Integrity is very important. Ethics are very important, and the foundation of that company should be based on values. Yes, water sanitation. Good morning, Madam Chandra. Why the company should continue with the good work Yet it should do some considerable research and handle the byproduct. Yes, good, madam. Thank you, madam, for the response. So definitely, in this context, based on this case study, now let us discuss these particular questions. So what does integrity mean? How does integrity relate to honesty? Why is it important for individuals to be honest and live with integrity? So the definition of integrity is the quality of being honest and having strong moral principles, moral uprightness. And if you look at the dictionary, you would find number of other features, other qualities or characteristics of this particular integrity: being honest and rectitude, honor, upstanding, having good character, following ethics, righteousness, morality, noble-mindedness, virtue, decency, sincerity, truthfulness, trustworthiness, and the list goes on like that. So three of them, the topic given to me for today's session, that is integrity, values, and ethics. All of them, three of them are interlinked. They are not separate, but we do find a slight or subtle difference among three of them. Shruti responded, as a part of corporate social responsibility, the company should attend the people problem and continue the production. Very good, Shruti. Thank you, Shruti, for your response. This is yes, because if the company follows all these values, then definitely it has to do like this. And Sharma also continue production with the people care, taking care of people, taking care of environment, taking care of surroundings, taking care of the sanctity, taking care of everything. It has to here continue its production. And thank you, ma'am. And Shruti replied. So again, let us come back to our topic, that is honesty is here. It is part of integrity, free from deceit or untruthfulness. Sincerity, as our participants rightly said, yes, it is the here indication of sincerity also. And what are the steps here to demonstrate honesty? Tell the truth, keep your promises, express. Of course, we all know about all these. So nowadays, even maybe we are thankful to technology, thankful to WhatsApp messages and all those. They keep on sending these definitions. They keep on sending so many here good things through WhatsApp messages and all. But the situation, when we look at the society, when we look at the present scenario, it is not up to the mark. So what could be the reason for that? Let us have the discussion on that. Lakshmi Kant, the quality of products should be monitored regularly. Yes, madam, I agree with you. What are the steps that demonstrate honesty? That's here, expressing yourself in a very positive way. Voice our opinion in a thoughtful manner, always, like how our participants, they responded to the queries, and follow the rules and regulations of the system. That's very, very important. And I keep on saying the same thing. And the system here, we are for the system, but system is not for individuals. We need to remember that. And a complete assigned task and course, whatever is given to us, we need to complete that in time, in a stipulated time. So all of them, they come under here, the qualities of being honest. And we should stand up for what is right and what is wrong. So that is integrity. In fact, a person of integrity will live with the truth. What is right, no matter what other people do or say. A person of integrity will stand up and speak if something is wrong or something wrong is happening in his here place. So one should have the voice. He has to, if he leads a life of integrity and all, it is his responsibility to stand up and speak if something is wrong, something is here said or done in a wrong way. Checking the mirror, a person of integrity looks at themselves and always wants to improve himself or herself. And of course, we are all human beings. We tend to make mistakes. Making mistake, and it is not something here not acceptable, but it is always acceptable. But the person who corrects his mistakes and who makes himself here perfect over a span of time period and all, he comes under here a perfect human being. Also, a person of integrity can admit when something is wrong with him or her also. Of course, if somebody does a mistake, come on, let us admit that. let us not here be hypocritic. Let us not here give some other excuses to escape from all these. Let us accept it, and next time let us correct ourselves. So these are all here like very rightly written by our participants. So let us consider, let us accept, yes, there is something, some problem. Maybe scientifically, maybe technically, maybe legally, the byproduct is good. There is no problem. But since there are many complaints from the people, from the residents, so this is the responsibility of the company to look at those complaints and attend to those complaints. So that is what here, then only we can call it, it is ethical, it is having integrity and values. So when it comes to the next one, what is ethics? Ethics are standards of duty and virtue that indicate how we should behave. Ethics is about right and wrong and how an honorable person should behave. It is about being a good person. It is not the same as values. We do find subtle difference between ethics and values. Ethics is what you do and when no one else is watching. That's very, very important. So, my dear here participants, in one word, we can say that in one sentence, it is said that ethics means, what are ethics means? Ethics is what we do when no one else is watching, whether people are observing us or not, whether somebody is monitoring or not, whether they are taking attendance or not, whether here there is some here supervision or not, irrespective of all those, when we here do rightful things, or when we are truthful, when we are loyal, when we are honest, when we follow all those definitions which are given under ethics, integrity and all those. So that is what we say some person is having good character, good ethics and values. Imagine you are invisible, but still you are able to do something without thinking about the consequences or repercussions. That's very important. Okay, today I came to college by 9:30 and there is no observation and there was nobody who makes a note of it, but doesn't matter, and I'm not doing any favor to anybody. It is my responsibility to come to college in time. It is not for somebody else. It is not for the employer. It is not for my colleagues. It is not for my subordinates or somebody else. So that is what we need to here understand, and we need to follow all of them, and that tells us about our own personality also, and there are certain qualities which come under these three characteristics: integrity, values and ethics. They comprise loyalty, respect and self-esteem, responsibility, truthfulness, care and concern, optimism. As far as we people, as far as human beings are concerned, so these are all here very much essential. Of course, there are many other here features, but let us discuss, let us focus on only certain aspects, very important aspects, as we have time constraint. So the first one is loyalty, like integrity, again honesty. It is interlinked with all these qualities. Promise keeping, and try to be honest and ethical in all our professional as well as personal dealings. That's very important. Never reveal proprietary information. And when we are here in our office, or even in here any other organization, or even at home also, that is very much important. And do not tolerate lying, stealing or deception. So nowadays it is very much prevalent in our society, but to the best of our ability, let us not tolerate lying or stealing or some sort of deceiving or deception. And the second one is the respect and self-esteem. It is our duty which is missing when it comes to young generation. It can be a research scholar, it can be our students. I think you are all also students. Slide is not appropriate, madam. 1 second, please, Ramya. The organization should take. Ramya, shall I keep it here full? Maximize. Right. Right. Now I think it is good. Ah. ఇది ఫుల్ వచ్చింది, చార్ట్స్ రావట్లేదు. No, they're asking for full screen. I'm sorry, 1 second. Yeah, I made arrangements as per the requisition made by Ramya. Ramya, is it okay for you? Right. Now it is better because I need to look at the charts also simultaneously. So I can't give full screen, Ramya. So is it okay for you now? Now you can see the screen and slide is very much visible to you, I think. Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, Ramya. Let me just go back to this. And the second one is respect and self-esteem. It is our duty to treat everyone with respect. And next one is courtesy. Everyone, in the sense, whomever we come across in our daily actions, it can be here top to bottom, it can be a boss, it can be our subordinate, he can be our subordinate. And the courtesy, we need to be politeness, dignity, value the differences they bring into our workplace. That's also very important. Everybody cannot be the same because their backgrounds would be different, their maybe the perceptions would be different and all those, but it is our minimum courtesy, it is our responsibility to respect the emotions, to respect the ideas, to respect the feelings of everybody in workplace. And next one is a tolerance. Treat everyone with courtesy, politeness and dignity, valuing individual and their cultural differences in our workplace and among those who serve. Is very important to have very good relationship among people. Next one, listen to and communicate openly with each other and with the stakeholders in order to build mutual respect and long-term working relationships also. So this is all here, respecting people, respecting all our, let us not look at their position, let us not look at their wealth, let us not look at their age and all. Even now it is it is very important, we need to respect our students also. They are not our here like a subordinates. So because all our students are maybe graduates and they're all here very much matured also. So respecting people also, it always here maintains having good relationship with all people in our society. And when it comes to self-esteem, I would like to give you a small here story so that we can understand. Very important to have our own here self-respect. But we don't need to be here bend our head in front of others unnecessarily, or maybe expecting some favor from them and all those. That is not correct. We should always maintain our self-respect, self-esteem and all. And there is a small story for that, and the story of wolf and dog. A gaunt wolf was almost dead with hunger when he happened to meet a house dog who was passing by. Now this is corona period, COVID-19 period, pandemic situation. There is no food to street dogs, there is no food to animals, there is no food to here even why animals and all, even for some human beings. So in that context, let us look at this particular story. So this wolf was very hungry, and when it was just passing or walking in some way, it saw a dog who was passing by. So her cousin, it said, I knew how it would be. Your irregular life will soon be the ruin of you. If you keep on here starving like this, one day you will be dying. It said, dog said like this. Why do you not work steadily as I do and get your food regularly given to you? So you also can be like me, because I work every day, so I get my food every day. So you also can become like me. It said like that. Dog said like that. I would have no objection, said the wolf, if I could only get a place. It will easily arrange that for you, said the dog. Come with me to my master and you shall share my work. So the wolf and the dog went towards the town together. On the way, there the wolf noticed that the hair on a certain part of the dog's neck was very much worn away. So he asked him how that had come about. So there was some problem on her neck, dog's neck. Then wolf got that doubt. What happened there? And you please tell me the reason. Then dog replied, "Oh, it is nothing," said the dog. "It is only the place where the collar is put on at night to keep me chained up by my master. It pains a little bit, but we soon get used to it. There is no problem, absolutely." So, but there is some sort of assurance that we get our food regularly by our master. "So, is that all?" said the wolf. "Then goodbye to you, master dog." So, wolf doesn't want to have that kind of treatment by master. So, because so far it has been leading a very free life and self-esteem life and all those. So, it left, "Okay, goodbye. I do not want to be like you. I do not want to come to your master's home. Okay, let me not have food. There is no problem. Let me starve like this, but I do not want to lead that life at the cost of my own self-esteem." So this is what wolf said. Better starve free and live like a better starve free than living like a slave, a fat slave. It is better to starve leading a life with a freedom without a freedom rather than living like a slave. This is what here leading life with freedom is better than here leading life like a slave. That is also not advisable. Self-esteem is very important for individuals. It also comes under values. What kind of values do we possess, do we have? So we always need to do something, not at the cost of self-esteem. For that, this is a good example. And next quality is responsibility. When it comes to responsibility, we need to be very responsible. Don't make excuses. That's what the moment we come late, immediately we come out with a number of excuses, number of explanations and all those. So we should have the sense of responsibility, accept responsibility for decisions. So we take decisions. If they are successful, we want to take credit of that. If they are a big failure, then we want to throw the blame on others. Normally, we do see people like that in organizations. Why only in organizations, even in our family also. So that should not be the case. One should take up the responsibility. The moment you take a decision, you have to here take up the responsibility of both failure as well as success equally. And we should fulfill all obligations. We should not over promise. So if we are not able to do something, let us not over promise. Let us not give some sort of assurance to people. So that is also very important. And life is full of choices. What you do and what you do not do, that matters a lot. So here, when it comes to responsibility, let me just give you a small example of a story, again another story of grasshopper and ants story. That is in the field of one summer's day, a grasshopper was hopping about, chirping and singing to its heart's content. A group of ants walked by, grunting as they struggled to carry plum kernels of corn. It asked, "Why are you going with those heavy things?" asked the grasshopper. Without stopping, the first ant replied, "To our ant hill. This is the third kernel I have delivered today. Why not come and sing with me?" teased the grasshopper. "Instead of working so hard, we are helping to store food for the winter," said the ant, "and think you should do the same. Winter is far away and it is a glorious day to play," sang the grasshopper, and it is not at all caring, or it is not at all looking at the hard work done by these ants, a group of ants. But the ants went on their way and continued their hard work. So they did not want to join with the grasshopper in playing and in dancing and all those. So they went on doing their hard work. The weather soon turned cold. All the food lying in the field was covered with a thick white blanket of snow that even the grasshopper could not yet dig through. Soon the grasshopper found itself dying of hunger. He staggered to the ants' hill and saw them handing out corn from the stores they had collected in the summer. He begged them for something to eat. Now it is her turn, grasshopper, to beg these ants for food, because when it was the time, it did not work for it. It did not feel the responsibility. Grasshopper did not feel the responsibility. of saving something for future. So it was enjoying like anything. Now it is begging the ants for food. What? Cried the ants in surprise. Haven't you stored anything away for the winter? What were you doing all these days here during summer? I did not have time to store any food, complained the grasshopper. I was so busy playing music before I knew that the summer was gone. The ants shook their heads in disgust, turned their back and the grasshopper and went on with their work. If somebody is not responsible, if somebody doesn't feel the sense of responsibility, so they have to face this kind of crisis in their life. So that is also very important when we talk about values, when we talk about certain things here. So we need to be careful about our own existence, our own well-being, our own future, and all those. So that is a part of our life. For that, just I thought I should share this small story with you all. And the next quality is truthfulness. So that's very, very important. Listen to people from top to bottom. That's very important. And listen intently to the concerns of the students or co-employees or stakeholders or any other individuals. Listen to the employees and make decisions that affect them only after careful and appropriate consideration. And here, just we have like what happens in our organizations, even in family, even in our personal life also, family system also. Here is an example for you. Please listen to this particular, again, a short story or some incident, we can say. There was a boy who had a great collection of marbles and girl had a collection of sweets. Each looked at what the other had and was envious of the other person because they have something else which these people they do not have. So they agreed on an exchange. Okay, come on, I have something with me, you have something with you. Come on, let us exchange that. The boy to give the girl his marbles. The boy is supposed to give his marbles to that girl, and girl is supposed to give her sweets to that boy. This is an agreement. The boy kept the biggest and the particularly attractive marble aside and gave the rest to the girl. Boy is not honest or in his approach. So he kept a very precious or very beautiful marble with him, and the remaining all were returned to that girl by him. The girl gave him all sweets as she had promised, but girl is not like that. She is very honest. She gave all her sweets to him as per the agreement. That night what happened? The girl went off to a pleasant sleep. She was very much here, pleasant, and she went to sleep without any disturbances. Whereas the boy could not sleep as he kept wondering if the girl had hidden some sweets from him the way he had hidden his best marble. So because his nature is like that, this is what we say positive thinking or negative thinking. When his mind is like that, so he was assuming the same even from girl's side also, whether she returned all her sweets or not, whether she kept some sweets with her or not, like him, because he kept a very precious marble with him. So he was thinking in those lines and suspecting that girl, and there was no sleep to that boy. So integrity is the here. Let us discuss this integrity. Instead of giving the definitions of these terms, integrity, ethics, values, and all, I thought I should share some sort of incidents or some sort of events or some sort of anecdotes or short stories with you, so that makes you understand the real definition or true nature of these qualities. So integrity is one the most salient element in every single relationship you have in your life. Integrity is a way of life, not just a behavior. Don't allow yourself to hold any of your marbles back from another person. If you are experiencing any doubt, is there only because you know that deep down inside yourself, you have never truly given that person all who you are. So that's what, as per the agreement, you did not do that. So that was very much here haunting in your mind, and you could not get real happiness or real sleep. Give your 100% to everything you do and sleep peacefully. That is what, this is what we mean to say that it is integrity, it is honesty, it is here following certain values and all those. So we need to be very honest in our approach also. For that, this is a good example. And next one is quality, care, and concern. So truly care about each and every person, employee and student. That's very important. And commit to build long-lasting relationships to mutual benefit. So when it comes to care and consent here, we keep on listening to so many complaints from students, even from colleagues, from even boss also. So I could not do it because of that reason. I could not do it because of that here. So we keep on listening to excuses from all categories of people in our organizations, even in our society also. So how to here come out of these problems? We need to understand. We need to look at that particular thing also. We can say. So caring is here very important aspect. And let me tell you a small anecdote. That is, there was once a very wise old man who lived on top of a mountain in a village. That means if somebody comes to us and somebody comes with some problems, so they keep on telling some problems. I have so many problems and I have been suffering. So it's all because of that, because of my family, because of my colleagues, because of my boss, because of my students, because of the system. So nature itself is very complaining nature. So they keep on doing that. So when it comes to privileges, they will never talk about, they will never acknowledge the privileges they enjoy. So in this context, I thought I should share this particular situation with you all. So there was once a very wise old man who lived on top of a mountain in a village. The villagers went to him went to him for advice every time they had a problem. So sometimes all villagers, some of them, if they have any problem, they used to go to that wise person to get solution to their problems. So sorry, sometimes they would come to him complaining about the same problem. One day, one girl, her name is Neetu, a villager, went to that wise man with a problem that was worrying her a lot. Maybe somebody insulted her, somebody humiliated her in her class or in her office. So the wise man told her a joke. So instead of giving solution to her problem, so he diverted her mind and he just told her a joke. She laughed and she found it very funny, and she kept on laughing and she found it very funny. Then the wise man told the same joke again, maybe second time also. She smiled a bit confused, but the second time she smiled, but there was no here that much of laughter like first time. After a few minutes of break, the wise man repeated the same joke, and this time she got annoyed. So she got angry. I think, is he making mockery at me? Some sort of expression she has on her face. The man smiled and said, "You can't laugh at the same joke over and over. Then why do you cry about the same problem time and again and again?" So this is what he said, wise man. You say that I have been struggling, I have been suffering, I have been worrying a lot because of this problem for many days, for many months, for many years. So you cannot enjoy the same joke number of times, maximum 1 or 2 times. If it is the case when it comes to a joke, why can't it be the case when it comes to your problems? So definitely there would be some realization in that girl. So she went home with the proper here. Happily. So this is what she left. That's what we need to have care and concern for others, and we need to give this kind of solutions to the problems raised by our student community, raised by our colleagues in organizations or in our society. And the last one is optimism. We need to be very optimistic. I think towards the end of the session of previous class, I think madam was talking about optimism. I couldn't hear completely. I was there only for a few seconds in her class. I think she might have already covered about it, but still here, what I mean to say by optimism, here we have, we need to talk about something, because we are all here, we are all very hardworking. There is no problem with that, but all of us, we will not be reaching the top position, we will not be reaching the goal, we will not be reaching the target. Because of what? Because we are not that optimistic, we are not that confident about our own effort, our work and all those. For that, let me just share this small story with you all. During the gold rush, a man who had been mining in a gold mine for several months quit his job as he had not struck gold yet, and the work was becoming tiresome. He sold his equipment to another man who resumed mining where it had been left off. The new miner was advised by his engineer that there was gold only 3 feet away from where the first miner stopped digging. The engineer was right, which means the first miner was a mere 3 feet away from striking gold before he quit. So that's what here. He worked very hard. He worked for many months. When it comes to the ending, when it comes to the here, looking at the result and all, to the point of getting the result and all, so he lost his hope. And he became very negative. He lost all his here optimistic attitude and all those. Then it was sold to somebody else. So finally, just in a few here kilometers away, he could get that gold mine and all. So what is the message we get from this particular situation? When things start to get hard, try to persevere through the adversity. Of course, so reaching to the goal or getting the success, it is not that easy. Of course, we need to face so many difficulties and all. Adversity. Many people give up on following their dreams because the work becomes too difficult, tedious, tiresome, but often you are closer to the finish line than you may think. And if you push just a little harder, definitely you will succeed. So if when you look at the successful people, when you look at these celebrities or those who are very much successful in their respective professions and all those, so they keep on working till they reach their goal. They will not give up. They will not leave the job. They will not leave the work in between with some sort of negative approach and all those. So we need to be very optimistic till the end, not to some extent, not to maximum extent, till you reach your goal. So all of them, all these qualities, they come under these characteristics, integrity, values, ethics and all. So one should adopt, one should here follow these to make himself a good human being. So next one is these are here. There is a subtle difference between morals and ethics. When it comes to the meaning of morals, what are morals? Because most of the time people do ask, even when I was talking to my here students yesterday about this topic, and they asked me, madam, what is the difference between moral and ethic, and how are they different? Because you say that all of them are interlinked. So when it comes to the meaning, morals are the beliefs of the individual or group as to what is right or wrong. That is morals. Next one, when it comes to ethics, ethics are guiding principles which help the individual or group to decide what is good or what is bad. So that is always here. That comes. They come under principles which help individuals or group to decide this is good, this is not good. And when it comes to general principles set by, what is it? Morals are general principles set by group of people. And when it comes to ethics, they are the response to a specific situation. So they will be here, maybe changing depending upon the situation. We can't apply the same here principles in all contexts, in all situations. Morals mean customs, ethics they mean character. Social and cultural norms, they are governed by social and cultural norms. When it comes to ethics, ethics are governed by individuals or legal and professional norms. So this is what we need to look at. And when we talk about this, and let me to make this very clear to all the participants, the differences and all. So let me give you the example of which we all know of Mahatma Gandhi ji. Maybe Mahatma Gandhi ji 60 years before or 70 years before, I think more than 70 years, maybe in 1940s, 45. So he said here, Mahatma Gandhi, we all know that if somebody slaps you, show the other side of your face, so that there would be, what he thought, Mahatma Gandhi ji, so that there would be some realization in that person and he will feel repented and he will feel guilty about what he has done. So it was the intention of Mahatma Gandhi ji in making this statement. So if somebody slaps you, please show the other side so that there would be some realization in that person who slapped you, and he will never do such kind of atrocious activities as actions in his lifetime. This is what he preached in those days, maybe 40, 50, 60 years before. So now, if we tell the same thing to our students, they will never agree. Our society also will never agree. If somebody slaps us without any reason, so if we show the other side, that also would be slapped. Now the statement has to be modified. This is what we say. So we should never, why should we tolerate if somebody slaps us unnecessarily without any mistake of us? So that statement, the values, those here morals, they are not applicable in the present context. So you have only two options. First option is you slap back. First one, okay, you are not that kind of a person. Then just you tell him and you just you put him in his place. Tell him that here he is not supposed to here do like this when it comes to here to your own here integrity and all those. So these two things are maybe acceptable norms, but showing the other side, bringing some sort of awareness, bringing some sort of change in that person, so they are not applicable in the present context in this scenario. Like that here, morals and ethics are values, they keep on changing depending upon the situation, but intention, but ideology will be the same. We need to remember that. That's very, very important. When it comes to Krishna Chaitanya, Rajendra, hoping against hope, very good. Yeah, maybe for that story, hoping against the hope. Aparna Reddy, yes, very much true, ma'am. Krishna Chaitanya, yes, ma'am, it is true. Good. So I'm very happy. All my here participants, they are online, they are listening to it and responding also to these here situations. Good. And let us go to the next slide. That is, what do we mean by values? Next one. Values means here. There are here basic guidelines to understand values. They form the basis of all our thoughts, behaviors, and actions. Once we know what is valuable to us, these values become the basis, the anchor for our actions. We also need to understand the universality of various human values. Then only we can be assured of happy and harmonious human society. That's very, very important. Basic guidelines for this value education. So why do they recommend UGC, AICTE, our even a national education policy of 2020 also, they insist on including value education, universal values in course curriculum of all stages, all levels, starting from high school, +1, +2, UG level, PG level and all. So why is it very important? Because it has got a lot of importance in the life of human being, in leading a happy life of any human being. So what are the basic guidelines for value education? The subject that enables us to understand what is valuable for human happiness is called value education. In order to qualify for any course on value education, so these are all the guidelines we follow when it comes to content of the course. First one is universal values. So what are they? It needs to be applicable to all our human beings, irrespective of caste, creed, nationalities, religion, etc. For all times and religions and regions also. So the values we follow, it should be applicable to all here at universe, at the level of universe. Next one is rational. It has to appeal to human reasoning. It has to be amendable to reasoning and not based on dogmas or blind beliefs. Next one, it should be rational, it should be logical also. Simply you can't say, that's what here when it comes to Mahatma Gandhi's here situation, if somebody slaps us, immediately our students, if we say as a parent, as a teacher, come on, you show the other side, so they will treat us as mad people. So because in the present scenario, in this in the present context, it is not suitable, and our young generation is also not in that position to accept these kind of values. So logic is very important. They always look at logic. They always look at reasoning. Natural and verifiable. Those values should be very natural and verifiable also. It has to be naturally acceptable to the human beings who goes through the course, and when we live on the basis of such values, it leads to our happiness. It needs to be experimentally verifiable and not based on dogmas, beliefs, or assumptions. I believe something, come on, I follow that. No. Whatever I believe in, it has to be acceptable to all my friends, to all the society in which I live. That's very, very important. So it has to be verifiable and also it has to be acceptable to all. All encompassing value education is aimed at transforming our consciousness and living. Hence, it needs to cover all the dimensions like a thought, behavior, work, and realization, and levels: individual level, family level, societal level, nature, and existence also of human life and profession. So that's very, very important. And when it comes to here leading a harmonious life, the value education ultimately is targeted to promote harmony within individuals, among human beings, and with nature also. So it should promote, otherwise having all these is also of no use to anyone. So it has to promote the harmonious life. And when it comes to the first point, now we have been listening, and we have been discussing, and we have been now the AICTE sponsored this particular program on life skills and emotional intelligence. So as a part of maybe value education, so they sponsor programs, training programs, faculty development programs, orientation programs, refresher courses on these. Not only AICTE, even UGC also. Where is the need of having all these in the form of value education in the present scenario? Let us look at that here, this particular angle also. As we have already discussed, the subject that enables us to understand what is valuable for human happiness is called value education. Need for value education is correct identification of our aspirations. That's very important. That means value education enables us to understand our needs and visualize our goals correctly, and also indicate the directions for their fulfillment. It also helps to remove our confusions and contradictions and bring harmony at all levels. So that's very important. And understanding universal human values and to fulfill our aspirations in continuity. That means what we mean to say here, values form the basis for all our thoughts, behaviors, and actions. Once we know what is valuable to us, these values become the basis, the anchor for our actions. We also need to understand the universality of various human values. Then only we can be assured of a happy and harmonious human society. So what we mean to say here is understanding universal human values. Let me give you one example. That is when we show a rose flower to some students, maybe a student like 4 or 5 students. First student, he says that when we ask him to describe this rose flower, he says, "Madam, it is romantic. It is very here beautiful and romantic." Second student says it is dangerous. Third student says it is here full of thorns. Like that, they keep on describing the same flower. That means their perceptions are different. Their perceptions, the way they look at that particular flower is different. So even these values also, they based on that. So when we talk about here values, when we talk about ideology, when we talk about all these, so we need to look at even the background also. That's very important. This is what we say, equity and equality. We can't apply the same rule to all, right? So, but in spite of all that, we should have our own understanding about what is correct, what is not correct, what is good, what is not, what is wrong, and all those. So this is what we mean to say by saying that understanding human values in a very broad context. And the next one is a complementary of values and skills. To fulfill our aspirations, both values and skills are necessary. When we identify and set the right goals and produce in right direction, this is known as value domain, the domain of wisdom. And when we learn and practice to actualize our goal, to develop the techniques to make this happen in real life situations in various dimensions of human endeavor. So we need to struggle a lot to achieve that. This is known as domain of skills. And hence there is an essential complementary between values and skills. for the success of any human endeavor. Both of them are integrated, they are interlinked, values and skills. Both, one should have, any human being, both skill as well as values. We will discuss that, the difference between both of them, how to integrate values and skills later. Evaluation of our beliefs. Each one of us believe in certain things and we base our values on these beliefs. Be they false or true, which may or may not be true in reality. These beliefs come to us from what we read, see, hear, what our parents tell us, our friends talk about, what the magazines talk of, and what we see from TV, etc. So now, where is the need of having this value education in the present scenario, especially when it comes to young generation? Previously, it was not the case. There was no need of having soft skills, no need of having value education courses like this. Because we used to have joint family system and we used to have elders in family system, and when we do something wrong, immediately it would be stopped by our elders in family setup. But now it is not the case. 90% of our families are nuclear families, and there is nobody to advise, to hear, check or to monitor the behavior or actions of the young generation. And young generation, whatever they see, whatever hear, they read, they think that is correct. Maybe because in the name of technology, in the name of here, education and all those, they miss a very important link. That link is having values, following the ethics and morals. The impact of technology on human values is the last point. I'll discuss that. Evaluation of our own beliefs. Each one of us believes in certain things, and we base our values on these beliefs. So that's very important, but the base is very important. It is the responsibility of parents and teachers to give that proper base to students to believe in something and to follow all here correct things. The last one is technology and human values. The present education system has become largely skill based, of course. And we talk about 21st century, and we talk about the startups and all those, and so many great things in the name of technology. Yes, there is no problem with that. Then where is the need of having these courses in our course curriculum at all levels? But means, is it not helpful to our students to become a good human being, or to become good human beings? Yes, certainly not. That is the reason why we go for, or why we go after these courses. The prime emphasis is on science and technology. However, science and technology can only help to provide the means to achieve what is considered valuable. It is not within the scope of science and technology to provide the competence of deciding what really is valuable. So value education is a crucial missing link in the present education system. So this is a missing link, of course. Our students are very good at their subject knowledge, very good at their skills, very good at many other aspects. But this particular link, very valuable link, the link of value education, it is very crucial, and this is missing in the present here education system. Because of this deficiency, most of our efforts may prove to be counterproductive, and serious crises at the individual, societal and environmental level, they are here manifesting. Why do they commit suicide? Student, if he gets less marks, maybe the less rank, immediately they go for attempting suicide. What could be the reason for that? So we need to think about all these. At this point, just I'll take only half minute of time to give you the one example, very practical example from our real life situations. We have in a +1, +2. Let me not reveal the names of the institutions. There are 2 institutions. And all students, maybe for 10 years or 15 years or 2 decades, it is more than 15 years, 2 decades. So we join our children, and students of +1, +2, they join in those institutions. So those institutions are after here getting ranks, after getting marks and all those, right? They are not after here inculcating, they are not after here giving value education. So the syllabus is like that, situation is like that, system is like that, government is like that. So here let us not blame anyone, right? in such a context, what happens? Subhash studies, yes ma'am, in a joint family system, maximum problems can be solved in home, and confidence level of children too high with etiquette, ethos, and traditions of moral values completely learned by grandparents in joint family system. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir, for your very valuable remark. That is very much true. But now our children, our students, they do not have that privilege of living with elders, elderly people. In the name of education, in the name of technology, in the name of nuclear family system, they are deprived of all these. So because of that, now there is a need for this kind of courses in our course curriculum. Value education is must in today's times. Yes, good. I do agree with you. Then how do they differ from next one? Yeah. How do values differ from skills? So values, they mean importance or participation, and skills, they mean qualities, training, and capabilities. To fulfill our aspirations, both values and skills are necessary. When we identify and set the right goals and produce in right direction, this is known as value domain, the domain of wisdom. Basically, we must know what really is useful to achieve human happiness, the happiness to all and for all the time. And when we learn and practice to actualize this goal, to develop the techniques to make this happen in our real life situations in various dimensions of human endeavor. So there was a lot of struggle also by human beings to achieve this. This is known as domain of skills. Hence, there is essentially complementary between values and skills for the success of any human endeavor. So, for example, let me say, Aparna Reddy, holistic education is the need of the hour, ma'am. Yes, definitely, Aparna. I think MGIT Aparna. This is, if I am not wrong, because she has been interacting as if she knows me. I do not know. We Aparna. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Thank you, Aparna. Good response. Holistic education is the need of the hour. Yes, definitely. So that is very much important at all levels. At all levels, the system is badly in need of holistic education. I do agree with you 100%. When it comes to the how do values differ from skills, let me give you one example. I want to lead a healthy life. Only wishing for good health will not help me keep my body fit and healthy, and without having understood the meaning of health, I will not be able to choose things correctly to keep my body fit and healthy. Right? So I have to learn the skills to achieve the goal of good health. That means food, what kind of food is to be consumed, the physical workout to be designed. So without knowing the meaning of good health, health cannot be achieved. So we should have the here idea of keeping a good health. That is one thing, and how to keep it here. How to keep a good health is also another one. So both of them are different. So having an idea, that is following the value system, and having the skill also how to maintain my good health, and although for that I should have some idea, some knowledge, some skill about keeping myself physically fit and healthy. So this is good example. Both of them are not, it cannot be separated, they are interlinked. And CNA Chandra, education without values will make a man a clever devil. Yes, definitely, madam. Is it Chandra? Yeah, madam, I think. Yeah, education without values, yes, make a man a clever devil. Yes, nowadays we see this kind of devils here in our society, definitely. So their intelligence, their knowledge, their experience, it's of no use to society. Very unfortunate, very pathetic situation. And okay, if it is not helpful to society, that is one thing. And they are indirectly, by making use of their knowledge, their skill, their talent and all, they are here doing a lot of it is advantages also, and indirectly it damages or it spoils the sanctity of the system also. Yes, it happens. I agree with this participant Kameshwara Garu. Yes, madam. Do you say simply introducing courses on values is sufficient? No, Kameshwara Garu, it is not sufficient. So we should have, a very good question also. Introducing the course is not sufficient. So we need to follow them. we need to, as a teacher, as a resource person, or as a parent, it is very important. It is the responsibility of individuals to see that that is followed, and to see that it is here reach to all levels, all students. And before we preach something, it is our responsibility here from our side. We need to follow that. If I go to the classroom here 10 minutes late, and if I ask them here to come on, you have to be disciplined, you have to follow the punctuality and all, who will listen to that? So first of all, there should be change in the elder generation. That's very, very important. So I don't mind even saying that in this open platform. So first of all, we need to change ourselves, our attitudes and all. As a parent also, we need to change our attitude. We should not be after education. We should not be after marks. We should not be after getting ranks. We should not make comparisons with other children. So that hurts a lot our children. So the moment you say, when he says, Amma, I got 80% of marks. So mother says, our father says, why only 80? Maybe our neighbor Rahul got 90% of mark. So this is the tendency of present parents. So that attitude has to be changed from family, from parents. When it comes to education institutions, so we should be like a role model to our students, right? And there are so many remarks. Do you say UGC urging but not sufficient? I hope. Yes, definitely not sufficient, sir. So we need to follow first thing, and we need to conduct number of training programs, and there should be a sea change. I think that has to be made at society as well as at education institutions, that without value education, they will become intelligent crooks. Next one, let us not use this very derogative terminology, sir, but because this is an official platform. Krishna Chaitanya, I think from MGIT, Rajendra sir. Value-based education is the necessity of the day, ma'am. Yes, definitely, Krishna Chaitanya. I think this is from MGIT. This boy is also from MGIT. Next, Rajendran, attitude decides our altitude. Very good, sir. Yes, I always quote that in my classes. The way we behave is very important. That decides our success. Very good. So it is not the merit, it is not the skill, it is not the highest percentage of marks. The way we behave, the way we hear, show our actions, that will decide our altitude, that will decide our position also. I 100% agree with Rajendran, sir. Lakshmikant, creativity and fine arts embedded education should be introduced at upper primary level. Yes, yes, sir. So that fine arts also, I think now it is included in National Education Policy of 2020, Lakshmikant, sir. Definitely we can see these courses after 5-6 years, the moment they start implementing all in from primary level to high school level. Definitely, sir. For my...
Thank you.
Yes, please. Somebody is about to speak to me. Values, ethics and morals are to be practiced and then preached. Very good. I agree with that. For my Royal Love Physics, somebody level arts. Sandhya, ma'am, I feel values should be incorporated from the family during the upbringing of the kids. Very good, madam. I agree with you, Sandhya. Rajendran, thank you, ma'am. Yeah, Lakshmikant. Next, Parvatam. How to avoid forced responsibility. Yes, I agree with you, sir, because we are always here. There will be so many constraints in workplaces. So we are under a lot of pressure also. You are supposed to complete the syllabus. You are supposed to take so many classes, which is not correct. That is what the introducing value education at all levels is not sufficient. Even we need to change the rules also. So completion of the syllabus, like quantity is important or quality is important. Okay, we completed all 5 units, but how far here we are able to here impart the value system, impart the knowledge among our students is also equally important. Meenakshi Baradar, I think she is also from MGIT. I think all MGIT staff attended this, are attending this particular program. Where value-based education is concerned, it is not the wheel turning full circle, ma'am. Yes, yes. Next one, Subhash, marks is not important in all time. Mannerism is also very important to be meaningful life. Yes, yes, marks, they are not at all important. Marks are important only to some extent, sir, Subhash, sir. But after that, people, even employers, they look at corporate or government, semi-government or public sector units, they look at the attitude of the candidate. Not exactly the marks. They are helpful only to some extent, but the remaining part, to appoint them or to take them into their organizations, they look at the attitude. I agree with Subhas sir. Anand, no ma'am, others are also there. I don't get that point. Right. Let me continue. Simultaneously, I'll be attending the remarks made by our participants through this chat box. I'm very happy. I'm getting good response from the participants. Next one is when it comes to self-exploration. Self-exploration is, let us, before we go to that, let us discuss. This is what somebody asked me, how to incorporate and how to introduce and how to have all these under a lot of work pressure. Yes, I am answering to that. I think it is Subhash. Rajendran, hire for their attitude and train for the skills. Good. Competition and cooperation. So we should always keep here cooperative spirit, but not competitive spirit. Unfortunately, our organizations, our family system, so we all follow here competitive spirit, which is not at all correct. We should never compare with others. Why should we compare with others? So because his background is different, your background is different, my background is different, and there is no comparison. The comparison is not at all correct. Instead of that, we can have cooperation. That will be very much helpful to lead a successful as well as a happy life. So just let me give you the difference between competitive and cooperative spirit. If it is competitive spirit, it disintegrates the workforce. Yeah, competition. Okay, now I got this promotion. Okay, if I show all these to my colleague, I think she also will get a promotion. So she will become my equal. No, I do not want to happen it. No, that is not correct. Come on, now you are enjoying the privileges. Come on, let me share with my colleague also. My colleague also, so that she also will come up. She also can learn. She also can come up. And we both can become a very strong team. This is what I follow in my own organization. So cooperation is very important. It integrates the workforce. So we are all together in our department. I proudly say that, which is not the case even in other departments in our organization. So we need to share. We need to have cooperation with others. So which integrates the workforce. When it comes to competition, employees fear losing the contest. Always will lead insecure life. And when it comes to cooperation, employees share victory and defeat. Come on, we take up the equal responsibility. So when we share, no ma'am, others are also there. Hire for their attitude, right? When it comes to win-lose situation, increase stress. So competition, always it will be there, win-lose situation. This is what happens with your +1, +2 students. So these two organizations, they always talk about success stories, but they show only hundreds of success stories, but behind that, there are lakhs of failures. Generations after generations. Now, the reason to have these kind of courses in our education system, particularly in both the states, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, let me not hesitate to say that it's all because of the education system, which has been offered by these two education institutions in our states, particularly at +1 and +2 level. And they do not know how to survive. They do not know how to face challenges. They do not know all these here life skills or behavioral skills. Because of that, here the generations, the generation after generations are getting affected because of the culture, work culture, because of the education culture in these two organizations. Okay, let me come back because now we have very less time. It works on the basis of individual wisdom competition, whereas it works on the basis of collective wisdom. Come on, I know something. Maybe I am not 100% correct. I am not here 100% complete in my own thinking, in my own perception. When I share it with my colleagues in the department or in my organization, so I can even have their own ideas. So finally, we both are finally, as a team, we can come out with a very good solution to the problem and all. So that always helps for the development of the organization. And it aims at maximizing individual output. It aims at maximizing group output. The individuals work to defeat his colleagues. So in competitive spirit, what happens? Come on, I should be the winner and my colleague should be the loser. That kind of approach would be there. Whereas when it comes to cooperation, the individuals stimulate each other. Come on, I got it. You also will get it. Come on, it is not very difficult to get it. Come on, you can try, you can work for it. Definitely you can get. This kind of attitude would be there if it is cooperate, if we follow cooperation. Resources are isolated in a competitive spirit. Resources are collective. That's very important. If they receive any information about maybe this faculty development program, which is being organized by Dr. Panda, so when we share it, I think now we can see that from a particular institute, maybe Mahatma Gandhi Institute of Technology, I can see many participants, if I am not wrong, all of them, many of them are from the same organization. So it happens when we share the information with others, definitely. So many people can also get the benefit out of this program. If we keep that information with us, I only can attend and it will not reach the other participants, other people. So tomorrow when I go back to my department, what am I going to discuss? What am I going to share? What am I going to discuss here? The ideas which we learn in these training programs. So it often turns unhealthy competitive spirit, whereas when it comes to cooperation, it always remains healthy. It develops individual excellence, whereas it develops organizational excellence. That's what we are all employees, we are all for the organization. It is not for individuals. So we should always look at the broader perspective. And next one is self-exploration, the desired goal and program or action. What is self-exploration? We need to, they have sent the link of this. Yes. Self-exploration is the process to find out what is valuable to me by investigating within myself. What is right for me, true for me, has to be judged within myself. Through self-exploration, we get the value of ourself, right? And we live with a different entity. It can be a family, friends, air, soil, water, trees. Let us include even the nature also. And we want to understand our relationship with all these. For this, we need to start observing inside. The main focus of self-expression is myself, the human being. Content of self-exploration is just finding answers to the fundamental questions of human beings. So what are these? What is my desire? What is my goal in my life? What do I really want in life? What is the goal of my human life? Second one, action. So to reach my goal, there should be some action from some effort from my side. What is my human program for fulfilling the desire? How to fulfill it? What is the program to actualize the desire? So let us ask ourselves these questions, then let us think about it, and finally let us come out of this with a proper solution. In fact, these two questions cover the whole domain of human aspirations and human endeavors. Thus, they form the content of self-exploration. In order to understand the difference between these two, we need to be aware of our nature here, natural acceptance. So to understand these here, we need to be aware of our natural acceptance. Certain things we accept just like that. That is what we say natural acceptance. What is this natural acceptance? This is which is it innate, invariant, and universal? Definitely. Natural acceptance implies unconditional and total acceptance of the self, people, and environment. It also refers to the absence of any exception from others. Once we fully and truly commit ourselves on the basis of natural acceptance, we feel a holistic sense of inner harmony, tranquility, and fulfillment. Actually, natural acceptance is the way to accept the good things naturally, learn everything that is good from others. Very important. If somebody is following here something very good, let us imitate, let us emulate them. There is nothing wrong in that. And if somebody made a mistake, let us not do the same mistake. This is what we say natural acceptance. We accept that. And let us not become others, but we should have our own style. We should not totally imitate them, but we take the concept, we take only the situation accordingly. Let us have our own approach, our own action. We can easily verify proposals on the basis of these characteristics of natural acceptance. It doesn't change with time, definitely. First one, it remains invariant with time. For example, our natural acceptance for trust and respect, it does not change with age. It does not depend on the place whatever we have accepted in our life at any time of our age does not change, even if we move from one place to another one. Third one is it does not depend on our beliefs or past conditioning. And Satya sir, send the links on WhatsApp from chat box. These will go away from this. Yeah, it is something addressed to the host, right? Second point, whatever we have accepted in our life at any time of our age doesn't change. And third one is it doesn't depend on our beliefs or past conditioning, no matter how deep our belief or past conditioning. As long as we ask ourselves the question sincerely, as long as we refer deep within ourselves, the answer will always be the same. Depending upon situations, sometimes our strengths become our weaknesses. Agree, culture. Sir, okay. This natural acceptance is constantly there, something we can refer to. Natural acceptance is always there. Whatever we do, this natural acceptance is within us, telling us what is right and what is not correct. So this is what we say when we were here and building the character. Once the character is built, then we follow that whatever ideology, whatever ideas, whatever principles, whatever notions we have in our mind, it would be followed throughout our life. This is what indirectly we say that natural acceptance. We do even call that our conscience, not conscious, conscience. So if somebody asks us to do something wrong, our conscience will not permit. No, I cannot do that because my conscience will not permit. So this conscience is nothing but natural acceptance, which is inherent in all human beings. Next one. What is the difference between prosperity and wealth? Yeah, every year here we do get messages for any festival and all. Wish you a happy, prosperous year, or wish you a happy, prosperous life, something like that. So they mix both of them. They look at both of them here. Identically, prosperity and wealth, but they are not similar. Prosperity is different, having wealth is different. What is the difference? Let us now look at that. Prosperity is a feeling of having more than required physical facilities. It is not just physical facilities. So now I have all facilities, all luxuries, but still I am not happy. I am not prosperous. Why? Almost all of us feel that wealth alone means prosperity and try to explain this phenomenon on this non-existent or half fact. Wealth is a physical thing. It means having money or having a lot of physical facilities or both. This is called wealth. Yes. Right. Hello. Hello.
Hello, madam.
Is it Dr. Panda? Would you like to speak? How many more minutes are left for me for this session?
5 minutes. Can we close down, madam?
At what time?
11:13 it is. Right now we will be closing by 11:18 by the way. If you
1:18. Not 11, 1 o'clock. 1:18 I think, Dr. Panda.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Right. Yes. Let us close it by around 1:18 or 1:20. Okay. I have only 10 more minutes. No problem. I'll conclude that when it comes to prosperity and wealth, it is becoming anti-ecological and anti-people. So being prosperity is associated with happiness and satisfaction. Very, very much true. So wealth cannot give us that much of satisfaction or that much of happiness, but prosperity can give. Prosperity means besides here having wealth, having money, having physical facilities, we need to have somebody's company to enjoy with us, to feel that wealth and all those. If we miss that particular component and having all these physical facilities is of no use to us, it will not give us happiness. Lakshmi Kant, conscience and consciousness are vital for character building. Very, very, very much true, sir or madam. I do not know that. Lakshmi Kant, very much true. Yes, I do agree with that. Both of them are here very important for building our character. And next one is, let me just skip that. Both of them are not the same. Prosperity is something beyond having physical facilities, whereas wealth is only here materialistic, having money, having physical facilities, having here furniture and all those. That comes under wealth. These two cannot be looked at here in similar fashion. Next one, what is the difference between what is the contemporary vision of happy and prosperous life? It is at 4 levels. Let us look at that. This is very important. This is the crux of this particular session. So how do the contemporary here society look at these two, happiness or prosperous life? So we are trying to achieve happiness and prosperity by maximizing accumulation and consumption of physical facilities. So this is what we do when it comes to our own children. Come on, let us provide them all facilities. Now I provide a room, separate table, cell phone, smartphone, and all those. So we assume that we provided everything to children. But important one, how to survive, how to live, how to here follow the values. What kind of here value system we have? We forget to tell about all these. It becoming because of this kind of attitude of our parents, our teachers, or our society, it is becoming anti-ecological and anti-people and threatening the human survival itself. Some of the consequences of such trends here, when it comes to the level of individuals, the consequences are because we are not giving proper importance or adequate importance to all these. When it comes to individuals, rising problems of depression, psychological disorders, suicides, stress, insecurity. This is what we see every day in newspapers. When it comes to particularly young generation, at the level of family, breaking of joint families, mistrust and conflict between older and younger generations, insecurity in relationships, divorce, dowry tortures, etc. When it comes to the society, we do see that now the society is like that contemporary society. Growing incidents of terrorism, Naxalism, lot of frustration among the youth because of lack of employment, rising communalism, spreading casteism, racial and ethnic struggles, war between nations. When it comes to nature, now Corona is the best example because nature is being exploited a lot by human beings. So the effect is Corona COVID-19. I don't need to discuss. We all experienced that for the past. We have been experienced for the past 6 months. Global warming, water, air, soil, noise, pollution, resource depletion of minerals and mineral oils, etc. So all these problems are direct outcomes of this incorrect misunderstanding, our wrong notions about happiness and prosperity and their continuity. This is an issue for serious explanation. We need to explore, we need to have a lot of discussion. There should be some deliberations on this, which is very important. We can buy Rajendran sir, very important one. We can buy a bed but not sleep. Yes sir, very, very important sir. That's what physical facilities cannot give us real happiness, but sleep can't be here purchased from market. Next one, what is right understanding we should have to avoid all these problems in our society at individual level, at a family level, at a society level, at the level of nature. We need to have proper understanding. I'll go a little fast because we have very less time. Understanding of your relationships, understanding of physical facilities, how much is required for being happy, only that much has to be focused on. And difference between animals and human beings also. Right, what is right understanding, what is good relationship, what are physical facilities. When it comes to right understanding, our basic aspirations are happiness, like mutual fulfillment and prosperity. Mutual prosperity cannot be one-sided, it should always be mutual. Let my colleague also be happy, let me be happy. When we both are happy, we can think about some constructive here work. So it can never be one-sided, it is always two-sided. So right understanding, we should have that kind of understanding. This refers to high order human skills, the need to learn and utilize our intelligence most effectively. Second one, good relationships. This refers to the interpersonal relationships that a person builds in his or her life at home or workplace or society. So the way we approach, the way we speak, our attitude speaks about our altitude, as mentioned by one of our participants. That's very important. What kind of relationships we maintain in our lifetime, both in personal and both in here professional life. Physical facilities. This includes the physiological needs of individuals and indicates the necessities as well as the comforts of life. It means the feeling of having or being able to have more physical facilities than is needed. In order to resolve these issues in human relationships, we need to understand them first. That's very, very important. First, understanding. And the word would become right understanding of relationship. Similarly, in order the right understanding will enable us to work out our requirements for physical facilities and hence correctly distinguish the difference between wealth and prosperity. With the nature as well, we need to understand the harmony in nature and how we can complement this harmony to lead a happy life. Next one is cooperation. So let us look at this particular slide. I request the participants. A team had, so what do we mean by cooperation? Read the story and discuss the questions that follow. A team had 4 members called everybody, somebody, anybody, nobody. There was an important job to be done. Everybody was sure that somebody would do it. Anybody could have done it, but nobody did it. So this is what we look at here. This is what we experience. This is what we here see in all organizations, even in our society also. What do you understand from the story? What problems do we here face when working with a team? So this is what we say teamwork, but this is what happens. Ultimately, in a team, only one person will come out and only one person will work and remaining all of them will become here mere spectators. But that is not correct. Everybody has to contribute. When everybody contributes, definitely we can see a great progress in our here organizations. Physical facilities are necessary but not complete for human while they are complete for animals. Yes, we have already discussed that. So for if I have all physical facilities here, it doesn't mean that I'm happy. I need something beyond that. So that is what we say prosperity. And but for animals, if we provide physical facilities, so that is complete and they do get here satisfaction. Sense of responsibility, clear communication of accountability. Yes, that's what here. Lack of team spirit. Yeah, I think Kameshwara Garu, he gave answer to this. What do you understand from this story is a lack of team spirit. Together everyone achieve maximum or more team. Yes, they are responding to this particular story. I'm very happy, sir. And the next one is prevailing notions of happiness in the society and their consequences. This is, we have already discussed that at all levels, how people behave because they lack proper understanding about the values, proper understanding about the ethics to be followed, proper understanding about the integrity. Ultimately, knowing the lack of understanding about the difference between wealth and prosperity. So we face many problems. If we have proper understanding, definitely we can be here successful in our actions. So foundational values of relationships ensure strong and mutual relationships. Yeah, these are all very important. Trust, respect, affection, care, guidance, reverence, glory, gratitude, love. So now, unfortunately, there is no place for all these qualities in our life. And I do not know the reason, and people are becoming very selfish. They are becoming very materialistic. So this is not at all correct. And ultimately, we end up in here sorrowfulness. If we become like that, we need to inculcate, we need to have all these values in our relations, to have very good relations in our family as well as in our profession. Sometimes it happens due to lack of clear communication among team members. Team leader is directly responsible for clear communication. Yes, I agree with you, Sharma sir, definitely sir. It is the responsibility of the team leader to distribute or to assign or to share the work with his team members. So in fact, even in our story, the team leader shared the work, but unfortunately, the remaining people, they behaved that way. It doesn't mean that the team leader did not share the work or distribute the work among the members. He shared or she shared, but attitude of the team members would be like that. This is what normally we look at. This is what we experience also. But let us ignore that, and as you rightly said, Sharma sir, it is the responsibility of here the team leader to see that the work is done by each and every team member, right? So I do agree with you 100%. So these qualities are very important. Trust or vishwas, we say in Sanskrit. It is the foundational value in relationship. When it comes to respect, it means individuality, respecting the individuality of others. Affection is the feeling of being related to others, and care, we already discussed. The feeling of care is feeling of nurture and protect the body of our relative. And guidance, the feeling of ensuring right understanding and feelings. In other one, like the wise man, how he advised that girl when she kept on saying here the problems, talking about the problems, how he showed her the way to come out of those problems by giving a good example of joke and all those. So that way we need to guide our your friends and colleagues or stakeholders in organizations. Reverence, the feeling of acceptance of excellence. In other is called reverence and glory. Each one of us wants to live here, live with very continuous happiness and prosperity. So that is leading a glorious life, very happy life. Prosperity and happiness, that should be a continuous process. Gratitude, it is the feeling of acceptance for those who have made efforts for the excellence. And last one is love. It is the emotion of strong affection and personal attachment. So there is nothing wrong if we have all these qualities. Foundational values are also called as human beings qualities. Yes, sir. Sorry. Yes, sir, Subhash, sir. Yes, all of them are the qualities of human beings. All human beings, all of us. I agree with you, sir. Thank you, sir. And the next one is, and we are coming to the conclusion. I think time is also over. He gave us only up to 120. Just I'll take only last 2-3 minutes of time. There is a common saying that is, if you trust everybody, people will take undue advantage of you, because we keep on listening to this kind of statements, but it is not true. Just I thought I should share with you that also the basic error that is here. We trust everybody. When we trust everybody, people will not take people will take undue advantage. This is what normally we hear, but it is not correct. Here, the basic error is, if we trust everybody, people will not take undue advantage of that. On the contrary, it gives us inner strength and we become far more effective in interacting with and dealing with the different people, because we have proper understanding of that person, we have proper understanding of that situation, and we are mentally prepared about that. So if we trust, there is nothing wrong in trusting people. There is nothing wrong in having confidence in our colleagues and in our family members and all. So that is not correct. It is not acceptable also. They will never take advantage of the situation. How can they take? Because when we have proper understanding about people, about situations. So this is also very important one. We need to be very positive in our approach. And if somebody says that so-and-so is not listening to me, parents or teachers, it will have its own reflection on us. So there is something wrong with us also. We need to retrospect. We need to think in that particular direction. This is what we mean to say. Coexistence, our ultimate goal of having all these qualities is having here having coexistence. We need to live with all others. We can't be alone in this society. We have to live in the society. Thank you very much for your interactive. Yeah, Rajendran sir has already concluded that. Definiteness of ethical conduct, that is values, mulya, actions, niti, that is policy, character, charitra, and all of them are very important. They are very much important for having a good human conduct. And a profession in the light of comprehensive human goal also. Any profession, of course, this slide will be shared. I think you can have this, or you can take a photo snap also. Ultimately, what I mean to say by saying profession is, it is nothing but a service. It is not like earning money or earning something else, money, name or fame. Profession should be treated as a service. It is our responsibility. So we should have that kind of understanding about profession. And implications of value-based living at all 4 levels. If we follow these values in our life, what kind of implications do we here get? At the level of individual, transition towards happiness and prosperity. This is the result of following these characteristics, following these qualities in our lifetime. And when it comes to individual level, transition towards happiness and prosperity will take place at the individual level. It will instill self-confidence, spontaneous joyfulness, peace, contentment, and bliss in the self, and also perseverance, bravery, and generosity in living of the individual. When it comes to family level, mutual fulfillment in relationships, prosperity in the family, sustenance, In joint family system, family as the building block of societal order in place of law enforcing bodies. Respect for all without a differentiation on the basis of age, gender, caste, race, or money, post, creed, etc. And when it comes to the society, we can see a lot of change here, world of change, that is fearlessness in the society, holistic systems. Aparna Reddy madam said here we should have holistic approach, a holistic education system. Definitely for education, I agree with that. Even there is a point, there is a mention also at a society level, health, justice, production, exchange, and storage, harmony between nations, the world growing as a family, as a village, global village. When it comes to at the level of nature, if we follow all these values, what happens? Coexistence of all units in nature, not only human beings. Let us live with the nature. Let us live with the animals, with the birds. Earth getting more and more suited for a sustenance of all entities on the globe, all living beings. Balance of seasons, proper development. So this is the result. Okay. Contradictions and dilemmas of present society. So your loss is my gain is not correct. So if somebody loses something, it is a loss for us also. It cannot, it should not become our gain. So we need to understand that. I think I have many examples to discuss that, but because of time constraint, I cannot take the examples of business circles. I prepared many examples, but because of time constraint, so your loss is my gain is very here wrong approach and not at all advisable, not at all acceptable. Right. So life just before conclusion. Yeah, values are practiced through thoughts, manasa, words, watch, and actions, deeds. Very yes, madam. Yes, sir. Lakshmi Kant, sir, I agree with you. Aparna, trust is strength and foundation for any relationship. I do agree. Yes, it's very important. Trust. Nurture the nature. Yes, sir. Rajadan, sir, and you have become like a poet. You are giving all very impressive phrases. Nurture the nature. Yes, sir. We need to nurture the nature. Then only we can have existence on this earth. I do agree. Let us watch this particular video before we conclude. Just it's video of 1 minute only, so that we can conclude. This is about life, how the life has to be led. Harmonious life. Sorry, I don't know. Praveen, it start time mali poindi mind. Apply अरे
Hello, madam. Hello, madam. Hello. Madam, good afternoon.
Yes, yes.
Parvati ma'am. Madam, shall we stop it right?
Either.
Okay. Thank you so very much for the wonderful session, madam. Insightful session, and there are so many things and new ideas and new thoughts that you have given to all of us. And I'm very happy that so many people they have participating so enthusiastically and sincerely. That shows that they are interested in things. And you have given us a couple of anticodes, and you have given us anecdotes and so many examples. By the way, it's like a practical connecting things to the ethics and principles. Thank you so very much, and I hope all my participants would have benefited out of your talk. Thank you. Namaste.